And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Comm Relay. Today it's episode 3, and today we're going to talk about starter ships. So, there is actually a bit of a debate to be had even before we talk about starter ships, which is, what exactly is a starter ship? Because this has been something that's been on my mind for a long time, and apparently I'm not the only person. Is a starter ship a ship that can be bought as a starter pack, which would make a Javelin a starter ship, or is a starter ship a ship that has the starter ship designation in the vehicle manager, the ASOP terminal? Personally, I think it's the latter, but sometimes I wonder if it's the former. If you're watching this after the stream, post your thoughts in the comments, because I would like to know what people think about this. So today, the question of the day is going to be, what was your starter ship? Do you still have it? And what do you think is the best starter ship? And sort of a bonus question, if someone you know is buying Star Citizen, which of the two cheap starter packs, the Aurora MR or the Mustang Alpha, should they get? Because I think, in my personal opinion, most people are, when they don't know much about Star Citizen and want to start, and they want to start playing Star Citizen, they will decide between one of those two starter packs, the Aurora MR or the Mustang Alpha, because that's generally what is offered to you, unless you have some special event going on and they kind of throw in the Pisces in there for almost the same price, or they had the new one, the Sulan, but that one was a little bit more expensive. So unless there is a specific event that pushes a new or certain different starter ship, it's going to be one of those two. So without further ado, actually, before we begin, I would like to apologize if I lose my voice halfway through this, or if I sound congested as heck, because I've been sick all week, and I thought that would be okay, and I'm not okay, and I didn't want to cancel the stream. So, yeah, without further ado, let me drag in our first guest, who's going to be none other than Lens Nation. Lens Nation, welcome. You are live on air with us. Please unmute yourself. I'm just going to unmute.
Just a second, I'm putting my headphones on. Here I am.
Of course, every time.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mute the YouTube.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes, that's going to mess up if you have the stream, because it's going to be delayed by like 5 seconds for you.
Yeah. I'm learning the ways of the stream space.
It's not the ways of the stream. It is the ways of the undersea cable that brings you internet.
True. You say true. I say thank you.
Yeah, you say thank you. I say, you penal colony people don't deserve internet.
We have tragedies when it comes to internet in Australia. It's not even go there. But do you know what? When I said you say true, I say thank you. Where that quote comes from?
Where that comes from?
Yeah. Do you know or not?
I don't.
That's from Stephen King's The Gunslinger saga, the Dark Tower saga.
Oh.
So it has its own lore, right? So this is a thing that people say in that. You say true, I say thank you.
That actually makes a lot of sense. While we were on unrelated fun facts, you know what I learned while I was on the couch trying not to die?
Yes.
Apparently, the first people to ever settle Australia were just two dudes who got marooned by their crew.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah, it was like 100 years before the official colonization of Australia. And they got marooned on the western coast. And it was literally a mutiny type situation. And they got captured, and they were like, yeah, you know what, we're not going to throw you overboard, we're going to just drop you off. And you guys make the best of it. And they actually survived for quite a long time on their own.
I mean, indigenous people have survived this place, and it's a beautiful place. So I don't see why. There's someone watching my stream right now.
I see why. You
You
know,
should explain what's happening here. There's a droneception happening.
yeah, it's a
It's
streamception
just
happening. So for those of you
streamception. Oh yeah.
wondering what's going on, so Lens Nation is doing his own stream right now, where I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
still editing the video. That
I'm
I
editing,
don't
yeah.
wanna I don't wanna spoil people what is it about.
Yeah,
And
I'm
at the same
editing
time,
the
he's
video,
joining
yeah.
us on the Comm Relay, which we very much appreciate.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
Lens
okay,
Nation,
just a second. I'm gonna post your streams link on my Twitch. I have one person watching,
Good
so
idea.
man, we are equal. Nah, you have two people. You have one more than me.
yeah, I have one. I have you plus someone. And you
I think that's Skip. That's
probably
Skip.
I probably skip.
Skip watches my streams too, so I'm
Yeah,
thankful for that.
so I guess we have
All right,
skip on both
please.
streams.
Yeah, continue.
So I think I already know the answer, but what was your first starter ship?
It's a beautiful story.
Before in any CCUs. That is.
Oh, I haven't done any CCUs.
No,
None at all.
okay.
I think it's a CCUs are a novel idea, but they're not for me because I don't have that kind of brain, sort of, and I have a huge fear when if things go wrong, if they change the pricing here and there, what am I going to do? So I just no, it doesn't work for me. But beautiful story, 2016.
Yes.
And
I'm still
I
young
read
and full of hope. No, that's a lie. I was already depressed in 2015.
I believe you have always been old. Do you know those movies when the baby's born and he's already got the beard? That's you.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it definitely feels like that. No, 2016 is actually when I grew a beard. That is actually that year. Yeah, that was my first year in college. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to fit in with all these hipsters around here.
Yes. So that was the year when I discovered Star Citizen, and that was also the year. So when I had it was 2014. We moved to Australia, so I didn't have a very strong PC, but I bought the game anyway. And I did a lot of research which ship to get, and there was only Mustang Alpha and the Aurora MR.
Yeah, it was only those two back in the day. So it was
those two, only two.
Yeah,
yes,
it was
there was only
supposed to be an
options.
easy choice, but it took me 3 hours to figure out which one I want.
It took me a number of days. It did take me a number of days. Well, I'll be very honest. We moved to Australia. We didn't have much money. And spending 45 USD, I think it was 45 USD at that time too. It was not an easy decision for me, brother. It was like, do I really want to spend this money on entertainment? And I knew I will. Yeah.
Do you know how I backed Star Citizen?
No.
I was bored in a lecture, and I was like, hey, I finally have a computer that can run this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I'm like, wait, I'm a broke-ass college student.
Uh-huh.
Can I really... is this really,
Is this a wise thing to do?
It was my first or second month at college. And I'm like...
Yeah.
I finally... Because I bought myself a laptop for college. And like, finally, I have a laptop that can run this game. Because I already knew about Star Citizen for like 2 years at that point. And I'm like...
No.
Is 45, because $45 for me at the time was like a lot of money. That was like,
a lot of money.
That was like 1/6 of my rent at the time.
Yeah.
Which like holy shit, rent was that cheap back in the day.
Good old days, mate.
And Skippy, yes, Freelancer technically is a starter ship in my opinion.
Which the base Freelancer or Freelancer Max?
Base Freelancer is a starter ship. It has this starter designation on it. At least it had last time I had it in my hangar. So yes, it is a starter ship in my opinion. And actually, in my opinion, one of the more underrated ships. But that's a topic for the next show. Okay, so So which ship did you go with back then?
Yeah, so I spent 3 to 4 days trying to figure out which ship I want to get, and everybody at that time was advising 100% get an Aurora MR because Mustang didn't have any cargo space back then.
Yes, that is true. They didn't
So,
have the
however, sorry, go
yeah,
on.
they didn't have the cargo box that you can lower now. That's
Yeah, the one that you can lower now. Yeah.
318. No. They did that with the rework, which was 316, I think.
Yeah. And so I was split. What do I get? So everybody suggested get Aurora. So I didn't. I thought I oversold myself. I thought, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be a really amazing pilot, and I'm gonna dogfight. And it took me like 2 minutes to figure out that I have made a really really strong choice here when I launched the game. So I got the Mustang Alpha. However, I still have really fond memories of my Mustang Alpha because that ship is beautiful design.
It is beautiful.
And so my mind was blown when it used to be Port Olisar, right?
Yeah, it used to be Porto
Uh,
only.
Yeah, so I was trying to take off, and it has folded wings. The wings open.
Yeah.
When those wings open, when I contracted my landing gear, it was my mind was blown. What is this?
Yeah, it was one of those
2016
designs back in the day when it was like, oh shit,
Oh
it
my
has folding
God.
wings. And it wasn't
Beautiful.
the only one at the time. You had the Saber. Saber was around then already.
Man, so the tragedy was that I fell in love with it, and I tried to do a couple of things. It was very hard to try to get my head around how does this fly, and turned out my PC was not good at all playing Star Citizen back then. Even invested money in getting an SSD,
Yeah.
still no luck there. And okay, my wife is calling me, bro.
Yeah, that takes priorities. You go take care of that. I will entertain
Okay,
everybody.
can you just talk to the chat and
Yes.
I'll come back. I'll just mute myself.
Yeah. So while Lenz talked to his wife, so I don't think I don't think I've told the story of how I backed Star Citizen. I had known about Star Citizen's existence for around 2-3 years at that point. I think I caught wind of it right in 2012 when the Kickstarter opened up. But I was a teenager. I was in high school, and I did not have a computer that could run this game, nor I could afford to buy this game. Mostly because I didn't have a bank account, so I didn't have a card that I could pay for this game with. Bear in mind, this is 2013 Space Coder, whose job is delivering newspaper. that was my part-time job. I was delivering newspaper every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good job. I held that job down for 3 years. I had that as a part-time job, and it actually made a lot of money. Like if you were good at it, they would because I would do newspaper and I would do like advertisement flyers for like grocery stores and stuff. And it was a really good job because if you were good at it and you got it delivered to where they didn't get any complaints, they would actually give you more stuff to deliver and more money. And like back then I could run around my neighborhood in like 3 hours on a bike and get everything delivered. So that was quick money for me. And then I went to college and I was like, I don't have time for this anymore or energy. And then I had to get big boy jobs like at the grocery store and such. Anyway,
I'm back.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to you. So go on. You miss your Mustang, but you don't have a Mustang.
Yeah, so not miss it. I mean, of course, we'll go to that part of the story later. But what happened was that I couldn't run the game because my PC was not strong enough. And I bought this SSD, my very first SSD. Still, I couldn't run the game. So I played it for, I would say, like 5 or 6 hours. Tried to do the probe mission, deploy a probe mission. And that was the eye-opening thing when I realized it's so the distances were large in Star Citizen at that time. Wow, I couldn't understand the interface, what's going on. There were not many tutorials available back then. Imagine if we started doing YouTube then. And so I gave up. I didn't play the game for a very long time. I actually picked it up back in 2021 when I had a really good PC, very powerful. And that's when I was like, okay, let's see what's happening in Star Citizen. Yeah,
That's always one
jumped
of those
in.
like decisions you either regret, or one of those decisions where like, oh, I am now saving so much money on other games because I am playing this game full time.
Yeah. So, but the thing was, like in 2021, I could run it, and I don't know if Mustang Alpha at that time had a cargo or not, because I didn't even try. In my head, it didn't have a cargo space, so I thought, well, I'm stuck with this ship anyway. So I did a few missions. Things were slightly better. However, I was again wrong, and my PC still couldn't really play the game. It still wasn't strong enough. But I upgraded again. I thought, no, I'm not going to give up on this game anymore. I'm going to play it, and so I started upgrading and blah 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 blah. And then I really, really, really enjoyed doing the game. I did a lot of bounty hunting in Mustang Alpha, and I loved the Mustang Alpha. It has such a beautiful cockpit, a beautiful view, right? And the ship has beautiful aesthetics. I never understood why they call it CO Alpha at that time. Basically, because I was like, it was later when I got the Nomad that I understood. Oh, it's Consolidated Outlands. Okay, I just didn't understand. I thought it was a denomination. Now, Alex 2079, he's watching my Twitch, and then he's jumped over to you. Nice. So thank you.
On what you said about the cockpit on the Mustang, it is one of my favorites in the game.
Yes, it's great.
I don't know who designed it, but that's. I think you noticed that I did my bachelor thesis on aircraft cockpits, and one of the things I was looking into were glass cockpits, which is where everything is either a bunch of screens that you can customize to whatever, or the whole dashboard is one screen, and you can just put instruments on there virtually. The Mustang dashboard is exactly that, and I think that's what it should look like in pretty much every ship. But only Mustang has it. But you know, we're gonna have a bunch of other consolidated outland ships eventually. So we will see if CIG kind of keep that design language. But anyway, interrupted you again. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, that's okay. There's just one thing I want to point out. Your waveform isn't working. The stream.
So it is not just me. Okay, that's interesting.
No, it's not working on your end. That's okay. You can have a look at it later.
What is wrong with it? I'm assuming
we're going to change the interface anyway. Let me finish my current video and we'll change your streaming interface a little bit.
Oh, there we go. So because OBS is being stupid. Hold on. It should work right about now.
Okay, I'll continue with my saga of my starter ships.
No, go on.
So, and then Mustang, I of course still was not a good pilot. And I still am not a good pilot, so I thought, okay, this is not really working out for me. I can't really do much in a Mustang Alpha. So I decided what I will do is that I started looking, let's buy a better ship, because I started enjoying Star Citizen quite a lot. And I did my research. The second best option everybody said was the Pisces, but then I think it was Carol Linger's video that I saw, his guide. And then he suggested, but if you really want to beat all the odds, get the Avenger Titan.
Yeah.
And so I did. I bought the Avenger Titan. And I stayed with the Avenger Titan for a very, very long time. Now, that's also a starter ship, and I think that is one of the best starter ships that you can get if you want to get into.
That's the thing I upgraded to, and I still have it. Yeah. I still have it, and I still fly it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like before Pisces came out, the Avenger was the thing. Like, yeah, you want to... Like, oh, you like the game, you want to put a little bit more money in it. Yeah, upgrade your starter to an Avenger. Case solved. Now, when you have the Pisces, a lot of people go like, well, you could get the Pisces, and you actually have some more choices there. You can, get the base Pisces with the 2 jump seats and 4 cargo SCUs, or you can get the medical Pisces where you have only 1 jump seat, but you have a medical bed. And suddenly you can actually like specify yourself into a profession with it. And then even before that, you had the Nomad come out, and a lot of people were like, well, I kind of want to do exploration, do a little bit of cargo. I think a lot of people are like, well, I'm actually going to like shell out extra for the Nomad because it can carry a vehicle, it can carry a little bit of cargo, it has very nice living space. So I think a lot of people went to the Nomad after that, actually. Anyway, go on.
You're spoiling my story because that's what I did.
Oh, yes. Well, then please go ahead.
So, but I did a lot of bunkers in the Titan, and it made my grind really easy as compared to Mustang.
Yep.
But one thing I don't like about the Avenger Titan is it right off the bat, it's a filthy ship.
Yes.
It's like you have bought a second-hand, a third-hand ship, and it's just filthy right off the bat. I do not like that. It shouldn't be so bad to look at. Like the interior is just bad, man.
To be fair,
like
it's
everything
a problem with
you have the textures. Yeah, it's the textures are just terrible. Same with the Freelancer.
Yeah.
So that's something I didn't enjoy. I was like, why is it like this? But I did a lot of bunkers and really good fun. I really actually enjoyed Star Citizen when I finally had the Avenger Titan. I loved it so much that I actually drew it on a coffee cup from my wife. I loved the Titan so much. I mean, she has a lot of coffee cups from me, and I always draw something for her. And then the Titan is what I drew.
Yeah.
And then and until then I was just playing on my own in Star Citizen. I didn't join any org. I wasn't playing in a group. I was just solo player. And then I had an issue in the game, and I started chatting to somebody, and I finally met a dude, Ben. You know Ben, G-Nub. He's been a caller here. Yeah. So talking to him, he suggested, well, if you wanna really, I said I want to upgrade. I don't like the way Titan looks. He said, if you want to upgrade, have a look at Nomad. Until that time, Space, I didn't even know there was a ship called Nomad in the game. And there are a lot of ships in the game which I still have not personally seen. I play the game in a sort of a different way. Like, I play it very slowly, and I earn my ships, and I really enjoy them. It's like really buying real-life cars. That's how I do my ships.
To be fair, I think that's a good way to enjoy Star Citizen, in my opinion. Because
for me it is, yeah.
Because a lot of people kind of come into the game and they are like, oh, I gotta maximize my content throughput on this game. And they kind of blow through, they go from discovering the game and starting playing to essentially having done everything in 6 months. And then they kind of like chase this dragon of like, oh, when's the next major patch?
Yeah.
I feel like what you and me do, where we kind of like
very true.
Explore a little bit and kind of dip our toes in various things, is actually the better way to enjoy the game. And you only see it with people who have been around for a very long time. People who know that, it's going to be busy first month and a half after a patch, and then it's going to slow down, and then, the next patch is going to get delayed. So there's going to be like a couple weeks to a couple months of things being completely dead. And then, you go to that higher level and you realize like, oh, this game is actually, there's the slow season between, April to September is slow season in Star Citizen. And then you have the busy season over the winter because people are inside. People are not on vacation, and suddenly more stuff is happening, and then you realize like, oh, the release schedule is actually adapted to this, and then you start kind of working with this, and I wouldn't say your expectations go lower. I would say your expectations normalize a little bit with how the game flows, and that makes for generally a much better experience with Star Citizen. And not a lot of people realize this.
Yeah, I at least I play Star Citizen that way. I play very, very slowly at my pace. I still haven't seen a lot of the. I mean, I don't even know much about it. Cop. I don't know much about Orison, Crusader. I know a little bit of Microtech, but I'm a Lowell boy
Yeah.
because that's where I've lived most of my game time.
Yeah, I think
But
Lorville has a
when
special
he,
place for everyone.
yeah, I was born in the sewers. Um, so he suggested have a look at Nomad, and I looked at Nomad, and I immediately fell in love. The ship looks brand spanking new, shiny surfaces, beautiful design language, and another one of my favorite cockpit designs.
Yes.
So that was fantastic. Um, and the story is beautiful because Mustang Alpha I bought as the game package. And I also, funny enough, I did not realize. I realized this years later. Like I think I just realized it last year when they took away Squadron 42 from the store, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was being sold separately recently, like for last number of years. So when I got the game, I got the Squadron 42 as a package, and apparently there was a free fly going on at that time. So I got the best deal just without knowing about it.
Yeah.
I just chose the right time. I didn't know there was a free fly going on. I just bought the game when free fly was going on.
Yeah.
And so $45 for the initial package, I believe. I don't know how much I spent. And then I think I paid $10 or $15 to upgrade to Titan. And then Nomad was on a package deal again on a free fly during an Invictus, and I upgraded to Nomad. And now my starter ship is a Nomad.
Nice.
And I love Nomad because it can do everything.
I like it. The only thing I initially didn't like on the Nomad was that if you put a Cyclone in there a little bit wrong, it would fall out. But since they fixed that,
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore.
yeah, they
It's
fixed
fine
it
now.
at some point where it doesn't do that anymore. I still had some issues with hover bikes, but that's fair because hover bikes have been broken forever. Yeah, they remind me shitting on Gravel. I love hover bikes. It's fun. It's just like getting it places is hard.
I hear you. Yeah. Also, the thing with the Nomad now is that it has a very bad habit. If you're flying it stock, it just dies.
Really?
It just, it's really weird issue. The ship overheats and it just turns off. And there's nothing you can do to turn it on. It'll just literally fall. If you're on a planet side, it'll just fall and crash into the ground. The solution apparently is to upgrade your components.
That is weird.
From what I understand. Yeah.
Well, I guess the engineers didn't do the math on that one.
It's the consolidated outland problem.
The only time this was an issue for me was way back in the day when Hurston came in. And suddenly you had the option of quantuming from Port Olisar to Hurston, to Lorville.
Oh, yeah.
There was no way to do that in one go in the Aurora. You would overheat about halfway through, so you would have to stop and wait for 5 minutes. So traveling in an Aurora from Port Olisar to Hurston took you about half an hour.
Gee, man.
Yeah, because you overheated once or twice, depending on like where exactly around Port Olisar you were. And apparently that was like quantum travel was very slow back in the day. It was like half the speed of what it is now.
Oh boy.
And it was just generally very painful. And around that time, I got the Avenger, which solved this for me. And around that time, I got very lucky, and I'm gonna call myself out. I won the board gamer giveaway around that time, and I got a Cutlass.
What kind of giveaway was that? Like, was it just?
He does it like every month. He does like a monthly giveaway for like like random comment gets picked out, and that person gets a ship. And it just happened that month he was giving away like 20 Cuddy Blacks, and I won one of them.
20 Cuddy Blacks.
Yeah. So I got very lucky that day, and I had a Cuddy Black for the longest time. And then it got upgraded. Now that Cuddy Black is, I believe it's either my Prospector or my 400i.
Well, Cuddy Black is a great ship. I actually do I do enjoy my Cuddies. And that's the next ship I bought in game. Cuddy Black is the first in-game ship I bought, like with the Alpha UEC. And incidentally, it's showing on your screen right now. It was showing. Yeah, and I love Cuddy. It's a great, very versatile ship.
Yeah.
Despite me blowing up on my videos, it's actually a really, really good ship. And then also I do enjoy 100i. I do enjoy 100i. That's a brilliant ship for bunkers, man.
It is very small. You can park it in a little valley or like behind a little hill. Turrets can't shoot at you.
Yeah.
And it
flies really well. It's nimble. It's just quick. It's like the BMW, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty
a lot
cool,
of
like
people don't
BMW
realize this,
M1.
but the 100i, it is very, very slightly more maneuverable than the Arrow. Very, very slightly.
Oh.
So it actually, like, it's very fun to fly. I think they nailed the fly feeling on the 100i.
Yeah.
And it's actually, like, the stock 100i, it is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of underwhelming, but once you go into like the specialized 100i, like I like the cargo 100i. It's got, I think it's like 4 or 6 SCU of cargo in there. It's got a lot of cargo for how small it is. So for me, that's the choice. Normally.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have actually Skipster is waiting in the waiting room. So
okay, man, that was good chat. 100%. Thank you.
So,
I thought it was just us.
Yeah,
all right.
Final question. So after all of this, because you really went through a lot of the starter ships. So which one do you think is the best?
I would say, like, if somebody was going to buy the game just right off the bat, Avenger Titan will have to be the best for that. But if they're happy to shell out a little bit more money, Nomad will make your life very easy.
Yeah, I am a little bit conflicted on that one. I would say, because the Nomad, I think it comes to like $110 with the starter pack, if I'm not mistaken. If you're buying $100 starter pack, consider the Cuddy Black.
Okay, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I would say, the Nomad is great. Love the ship, love the design. But the Cuddy Black simply gives you more opportunities because suddenly, like, it has a shit ton of cargo and it's all inside. It's got a shit ton of guns. And if you want, you can actually bring a friend. And now it makes sense to bring 2 friends now because you can actually operate the tractor beam from the co-pilot seat.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not very functional right now because you cannot see your cargo bay. But I'm sure they will fix it eventually. But yes, your point does stand. Yes.
So I am gonna move on to our next guest. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you at the next one when you're awake. So that's gonna be when.
Yeah. All right. Jeez, I'm just going to give a shout out, though. I have to because I'm going to use your platform, whoever is watching or who's going to watch. Today is the Open GP and Pro GP race happening with the Anzia Racing. And I'm actually joining them as a cameraman. And I know I've been trying to pull you into that as well. So if you have time today, do join us, Space. Just watch it on Anzia Racing's YouTube channel. Great community.
Like normal time for me, right? This one is at like 4 p.m., right?
Okay. No, this is going to happen 11 p.m. my time, so
that's going to be
a bit of a time gap there. I don't know what time it'll be for you at that time.
I think the last one they did was it like 6 or 5 p.m. my time. So if I am able and around, I will see if I can. I don't think they're going to put me in as a camera, but
No. Just watch it. No, of course not. You have to go through debrief and whatnot. But thank you for your time, man.
Absolutely, go NZR Racing. What they do is very nice. It is very cool. The things they do. So if you like racing, or even if you don't like racing, they actually got me into racing. So even if you don't like racing, go check out their content. They do a lot of very cool videos. They do a lot of streams. I think they had like 2 or 3 streams last week. And it's all action, and very cinematic. So go check those guys out. And I need to talk to Echo a bit about racing at some point. I can't message her, and she hasn't messaged me. So we're kind of at an impasse on that one.
I'll poke her.
Thank you very much. All right, sir. Have a good one, and good luck. Good luck on your end.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
So bye. Our next guest is going to be Skipster joining us. After all, let's see. There we go. I got it right. Perfect. Let me drag it down and cycle the mute. All right, sir, please unmute yourself and welcome. And we're live with you on the Comm Relay. Are you there? If you are there, we can't hear you. Skippy, wake up. He was in chat a moment ago, so he should be around. Any chance my Discord is muted? It is not. Yeah, Skipster, if you're talking, we can't hear you. So I would assume I would check if you have push to talk on by any chance, because that's something I've been doing accidentally over the past couple weeks. That I've pushed to talk when I'm trying to speak and I'm not pushing the push to talk. So while you sort that out, I'm gonna go back to the story I started earlier. So it's 2016. I finally have a computer that can run Star Citizen, and I am sitting in a lecture in college, and I am extremely bored. Extremely bored. Okay, he dropped out, so I think he's trying to resolve his issue. And I'm extremely bored. It's a lecture on I think ethics or something like that. And mind you, I am a computer science major, and I'm having a lecture on ethics for extra credit. And I thought it would be more fun. I kind of shot myself in the leg on that one. So I thought it would be more fun, but you know what? I'm bored. I am very bored, and I'm like scrolling through YouTube, I think. And I get a video on Star Citizen. I'm like, oh, I can run this game now. And I go back to the... Okay, he's back.
Hello.
There you go. It works.
Yeah, my apologies. I'm on my mobile and my earbuds weren't working for some reason, so
They do be like
the
that.
quality of the voice.
No, you are fine. I really appreciate the effort of joining us on mobile as well. So, starter ships. What was your starter ship?
My first ship was the Freelancer, but I was listening to you both and some interesting thoughts came up about people's first ships. And a bit like your own story, I saw the game in the Kickstarter and was interested in it. Had 3 young teenage sons and thought, well, this would be good, but it'll be too expensive to join. And I'd had some bad experiences with Kickstarter and losing money.
True.
And so I left it for a few years, and then as it was launched out of Kickstarter, probably a year and a half to 2 years later, I then bought the Freelancer.
Yeah.
And my journey of, well, it wasn't exploration because it was very much like other people's experiences, not having a computer that would run it properly and having multiple computers, probably 4 or 5 up until today's date, trying to run it, and the issues with the development, which were part of the journey, part of the reason I joined. My approach to keeping that starter ship was a bit different, really, and found, like Lenz did, that probably fighter pilot wasn't my thing. A more logical and slower approach to enjoying the game was needed, and that led me into looking at what was my plan for the game. Well, really my thing in Star Citizen is I've enjoyed the development and the technology and the wow factor. It's not the right word. Seeing how the game has improved and the graphics and the design and the landscapes, which have ended up incredible. Yep. So my way of approaching the game was to try and enable my sons at that time and myself to have ships which we could earn from, so that we could always stay in the game and buy ships in the game. However, I wouldn't actually now do that. And anybody watching this and thinking about a starter ship, try and get a basic ship like the Titan. buy into the game, try and make friends. If you find you're in a group that's not working for you, try and find another group and work with people to earn in game and work your way up that way. My interest was to try and back the project, which I've done, and take part in that journey, but I would no longer do that anymore. Does that help?
Yes, it makes sense. So you have kept the freelancer, is what you're saying. But you wouldn't do it again.
I traded the freelancer and melted it in the end.
Really?
So I've ended up sort of fast forwarding. So my ships would be Mole, Reclaimer, and just sort of trying to use, because I'm quite interested in the ground warfare aspect as that develops. So it would be using an A2 for cargo and for other missions.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that you kind of touched on there, a lot of people come into Star Citizen thinking like, oh, I'm going to be a combat pilot. I'm going to be the best of the best. And then they kind of realize the skill ceiling on that. And they're like, oh, well, you know what? I actually either am not interested in putting in that many hours, or I can't put in that many hours to be good enough to be, in that top however % of combat pilots. And at that point, a lot of people realize that Star Citizen is actually not a game about combat. Star Citizen is a game of logistics.
Yeah, and I think people haven't, people would say, oh, that's not how I want to play it. So we've got the completionists, haven't we? We got those that want to just play, and then they get fed up with it. And you've got people more like us who sort of just keep plodding away and working out how it all works. And after all these years, I'm still learning different things within the game. Yeah. And I think that people often miss all that. So they have that idea, all I want to do is be a combat pilot. Well, yes, if that's you, I get that. Yeah. But I think that, actually I'm going to say it, the combat is really good in Star Citizen. It's different to most other games. But I think that they think that's all there is because that's their interest, which is a shame because there is so much more.
I always say this to a lot of people, and especially when I see people like, oh, I used to play with these guys a long time ago in college, and they were like, oh, there was 5 of us, we're doing like mercenary missions, and they started a mercenary org, and they're doing pretty well. Last time I checked, they had like 100 members or something. And I kept telling them the whole time, it's like, guys, you have to, like, you guys are all fight. But you have to start figuring out where you're going to get funding and your logistics. Because they didn't have any logistics at the time, and they didn't have any secondary income. And then, I think it was 3.18 came around, or 3.17. One of those patches where things were, like, bad, and, like, bunkers weren't working, bounties weren't working. These guys stopped playing. Every single one of them, because they didn't have anything else to do, because their whole fleet was just combat fleets, and they never figured out the logistics. So once 320 rolled around and suddenly refueling became necessary and rearming and repairing became a thing, they didn't have any way to do it. So every time someone joins Star Citizen, I say, yes, be a combat pilot, be a mercenary, but have a non-combat gameplay loop that you're familiar with, because you're going to need that money and you're going to need something else to do at some point. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, definitely, because the whole project is about creating an environment, a world for us to exist in, not as real. We all want to escape the real world, but it has to have those logistics parts in. So yes, they can earn from missions, but there's going to come a point where they're bored, because the game will develop so that, how can we say, you've gone into the game as a fighter pilot and all you're doing is attacking or hunting down bounties, or not griefing, but having people within the game roles. And eventually, some may not tire, but the most will tire of that. Yeah. So you're going to need fuel, you need getting resources, you're going to need somewhere to go back to, you're going to need to work within the game. So yes, I think that's good advice. Think of a secondary profession. There must be something else you can do, which will then lead you into other things. Yeah. And I think, yes, you can play single player. It can be good fun as a single player, but the enjoyment comes from when you team up. Yeah. And when you find that group and those people are happy to invite you in as a new player with your starter ship, which a lot are, then the game suddenly starts to make sense because you see all the other aspects of the logistics and the things that will be coming online, which make it work. But the game also suffers from, and I've seen this in other groups, which I'm part of, where those players, for no fault of their own, that they've used up all their interests in a particular sector, they become intolerant to those newer players and helping them because they've become proficient.
Yeah.
And I
One
think
would
that's a
argue that's a
shame because,
people problem, not a game problem, in my
yeah,
opinion.
it should be about bringing those people in. So tolerance and encouraging those players with new ships to take part in trying other things is the key, really. And that's why people should buy a starter ship and then work in game to find what they like.
So we got a little bit off topic there, but to close things off, no, it was a good conversation. So, which starter ship do you think is the best? I know you started with the freelancer.
I'm going to go, and I can totally agree actually with both of you, which is I'd say the Titan.
Yeah.
And then if they can go to a little bit more money or work for it in game, then go towards the that's going on my mind, the Cutlass.
The Cutlass Black, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Avenger is the universal winner in this, and
Yes.
I am not sure if it is because it's the only ship in its own category essentially, or because it is that good.
Well, I mean, so they use it as an alt, and the reason for it was that the cargo space has got a sleeping area there. I noted your point about going to the Cutlass for 2 or 3 people. And it just fulfills the niche where you can actually achieve most things in the game. And for mostly the ship works, and you can go and experience lots of different aspects. You haven't got to worry about fuel too much. And if you can spend that little bit extra, that would be my choice, going for the Titan.
I mean, it's not that much extra. I think last time I saw a sale, it was like $72, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think they had it on special recently. So it's for the extra.
So when you think about it,
it's not a lot.
most AAA games these days, they're like $69, $79 for the expanded editions. So I think $72 for a ship that you're going to be using for years, if you stick with this game, is actually very reasonable, in my opinion.
Really good point that you just catch on before we finish, because actually people swap from one game to another. That the other day my sons wanted me to play Helldivers 2, which I did. Have we played it since? No. Whereas Star Citizen continues to be a long-term game which you can go back to. It's not something shouldn't be something you just play through and finish.
It really can't be something you play through and finish, because there is new content every 4 to 6 months, and there's just I always find something to do in Star Citizen. Even if right now I haven't played Star Citizen in a week, simply because I've been sick, didn't have time, didn't feel like it. But I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna pick up salvage, or I'm gonna get some group activities going. Like we have the overdrive event. That's you have the dynamic events where you can get involved and everything. So Star Citizen is very much a game that you can kind of dip in and out of over a long period of time, and you're not really gonna miss out on much, because there will always be something, in my opinion.
Yes. So keep coming back, and even if you sort of fall out of love with it for a while, or there's an issue with the project, then come back again. But this year is looking really promising. I'm also going to give Anzia Racing a plug quick before you let me go. I've watched it for the first time last week. It was incredible. They got all different types of ship classes, from small to large, which they race. I've tried watching others, which I won't mention. One's a business, Anzia isn't. They're all doing it for the fun and love of the game, and they're all really good at it. So if anybody's thinking about watching some racing, even if you're not interested in taking part,
do you know
please
how Anzia Racing got me? I looked at their website and I was like, these guys race 890 jumps? What? How? Like, I need to see this. I don't believe
Yeah.
this. And you know what? They did.
Yeah, it's like the reclaimers. They're going to race the reclaimers again, which is something I love. The ships are so difficult to maneuver, but there they are racing them. Incredible, absolutely
Exactly.
incredible.
So that's how they got me. I'm like, 890 jump racing.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, but how are they doing this? How does this work?
Yes.
That thing is not exactly a speed demon or maneuverable, but you know what? They do it. So go check them out,
good.
guys. Anyway, thank you
Yeah.
very much for joining
Been
us.
a pleasure.
I really appreciate
happy to
joining us
drop
on
in and chat.
mobile. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one, sir.
Cheers. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye. And our final guest for today, actually, because I'm feeling the paracetamol wear off, and I think you can hear me get more congested as I go. Is Junk Plunga, who actually, I'm gonna type your name in here. Too bad Lens Nation is not here anymore, but this is actually Lens Nation's son, who he makes videos with. So let me just. There we go. I think I got it right. Oh, he is here. So this is actually Lens Nation's son, and they make videos together, and they make some very cool shit. Go check out Lens Nation, please. Guy deserves way more love than he's getting. So Samar, you are. I'm gonna unmute you. Please unmute yourself. You are live with us. Can you hear us, and can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you for joining us and welcome. So, tell us, what is your starter ship?
A Region 100i.
Really? So what was did you choose this, or did your father give you no choice?
Basically, there were only 2 ships on sale from what I know. One was an Aurora, and the other one was the 100i. And from what he told me, he said the Aurora was slow, so I picked the 100i.
I think that was a good choice. So, and have you tried the other starter ships that are in the game?
When I joined the game, I got an Aurora for free. I do not know why, and it was not a referral. So I tried that out. It was like really slow, but I use it for like delivery missions nowadays.
Yeah. Well, you have kind of like that interior space there, so you can just put the box there and let it sit there while you fly. So but you could actually do that with the 100i. Do you know where the storage is in the 100i?
Yeah, just to the right of the door that you enter.
Yeah.
Is a little area.
Yeah, there is. So the stock 100i, it only has like the little interior storage that's like to the right of the entrance. You open the panel and there's like a little box storage.
Yeah.
But there's also a cargo 100i. I think it's the 130i or something. It has, if you approach the rear of the ship, there is a button, and you open the button, and basically the whole back of the ship opens up, and there you have, I think, 4 SCU of cargo space.
I think that's the 115A.
Yes, could be. Yeah, could be one. No, 115A is the interceptor. I think it's the combat one. That one has more guns. I am not very good with the Origin ships. They have too many numbers in the names. But yeah, I think there is the stock one. There is the cargo one, and there's the interceptor one. And the interceptor one is the A, and then there's the C one, which is 150C, I think. I'm not sure, honestly, but it doesn't matter. So if Bobby lets you have a chance at that, try have. Yes, just wait for the Origin 5 for yes, exactly, Alex. Too many Origin numbers. So, and have you actually flown Bobby's Nomad?
Yes, I bought it in game.
Oh, so how are you liking the Nomad? Do you also think it's the best starter ship there is, or do you think there is a better starter ship out there?
I think that's a really good ship because the door closes by itself compared to the Origin where you have to wait 10 seconds.
Yep.
And it's really good to fly. I would say it has a good amount of cargo, and you can bed log as well.
Yeah, it's I like it. Personally, it's one of I like it. I like the way it looks. I like what it does, and I like the way it flies. But Avenger Titan, have you flown the Titan?
Not yet, but I'm thinking of buying it because it's not even that expensive.
It is very cheap in game as well, and
Yeah.
it's got cargo. It has a bed, and it has a lot of guns for what it is. And also, there's actually two ways to get in that ship. You can either go through the cargo bay and through the living area, or there's
Or the
actually
co-pilot.
there's actually the
Pilot.
pilot ladder, so you can kind of enter like a fighter, which I think is very cool in my opinion.
I think the reason why they made that is because there's a military version of the ship that has the engine at the back, so they
Yeah.
had to make it.
Yeah, they have the I forget which one it is, but there's
The military version.
Yeah, there's actually two other military versions for this. One has the prisoner pods instead of the cargo bay, which also has the living area. And then you
I
have
think that's the Inceptor.
yes, it's interceptor or something like that. And then you have the military one, which has an EMP in the back, and it basically takes up the whole interior of the ship. So you have to enter it, with the ladder thing.
Yeah.
So, and let's try one of the other. What other starter ships do you know?
There's an Aurora. I know that.
You got the Aurora, then you have the Mustang. That's the two starter ones. We talked about the Avenger, we talked about the Cuddy, I believe, and we talked about the Nomad.
Yeah, I just bought an Mustang today.
Oh, okay. Have you had a chance to fly the Mustang? And which one did you get?
Yes.
Did you get the Alpha or one of the other ones?
The Alpha. The cheapest.
Yeah, it has like 4 variants. It's got the base
Gamma.
one. Yeah, the Gamma. But my favorite is the Mustang Beta. Do you have a
The
look
one
at
with
it?
the blue and the yellow.
Yes. But do you know what is the trick with the Mustang Beta?
I don't think it has a cargo bay
It
compared
does
to the other
not.
ones.
It does not.
Yeah.
But what does it have instead?
Bombs.
No. It has an interior where you have a bed and a bathroom and a kitchen. It's
Nice.
it's like the mini camper van of Star Citizen. And actually, speaking of camper vans in Star Citizen, have you flown the Cutter, which is essentially a camper van in Star Citizen?
Yes. Just for a bit because I don't know, but why I got it in game for some reason, so I flew it around a bit. Then I lost it. I crashed it.
Yeah, occasionally when there's like a free fly and something, they will give you extra ships. And it used to be that you would have a free fly and you would have to like go to the website and click a button, and that would give you like the 5 or 6 ships that they would have in the free fly. But now
Yeah.
what they do is that they just automatically give it to everyone who has an account, which I think is the better way. So that's probably how you're getting all these ships for a little bit.
For some reason, I've had a Buccaneer for a while now, like a month, and I don't think a free fly goes for as long as that.
Yeah, you know what? I've had a Buccaneer as well for a while now, and I don't know why. So, so I'm in
And
the
I've
same
had
boat
an
with you.
Aurora for 1 year.
Huh?
I don't know why.
CIG, what are you doing with this child's account? Why are you giving him hope, CIG? Why do you do this? Anyway, so out of all of these, if someone was buying the game and getting a starter ship, which starter ship would you tell them to buy?
Say Nomad or Avenger.
Really? Okay, and what makes you say that?
Probably because they're cheap. They're not the cheapest, but they're cheap comparatively to bigger ships. They're easy to fly and they can handle the beginner tasks of the game.
Well said. There you go, guys. When a child tells you that something is easy to fly and you should buy it because it is easy to fly, you should buy it because it is easy to fly. Samar, thank you very much for joining us. It was very lovely to have you, and I hope you're going to join us in future shows if they are at a good time for you.
I think they will be, and it's been an honor talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You have a great rest of the day, and I will see you on the next one. I will drag you back up to the waiting room, and you can go from there wherever you want. Thank you,
Okay.
and bye.
Bye.
A little bit too late there, Lens Nation, but I think we know the answer. I really liked having him on. That was a very very fun conversation, and I hope to see him again. Uh, I Skip. I am glad you all like my videos. That is one of my biggest anxieties, that people don't actually like what I make. Anyway, so that. Sorry, guys. Sore throat is coming back, and I'm losing my voice. So, I think with that we're going to end the show for today. Thank you all for joining us as callers. And for those joining us in the chat. Those of you joining us in the chat. I would like to see you guys as callers in one of the feature shows. The way to join us as a caller is to join the Armory Discord. The link is in the description. Watch out for the stream events. And when it's time and you're available, join us in the live chat room or join us in the waiting room voice channel, and I will pull you from there. Then yeah, with that being said, that is going to be all for today. Again, thank you all for watching and joining us. And I will see you in 2 weeks on the next one. Bye.